Can you hear me? Okay, good. Let me give you the link that you're going to need. There's that. And put that there. Okay. So today we are, because, okay, I am, make a long story short, I am actually getting tired of fighting all of these powers, trying to broadcast our messages and, trying to keep my face out of it. So I'm going live on YouTube. I don't care anymore. I guess what I'm saying. Have the Periscope on as well, and as you can see, I put the Hangouts as well, and we know we have the Pal Talk as well. So we have all of that, and I'm just so we're covering as many bases as possible so that we can broadcast somebody somewhere according to the Most High's will. Okay. All right, just letting everyone know that. So we're live in YouTube. We're live on Periscope. We're live in Pal Talk. We're recording into Twitter at this point, and so that's where we're at. So tonight, the focus, we're going to be going through Isaiah chapter 20 because we've had trouble doing it, as you guys know. We're going to go quickly through that, and then we're going, by the grace of the Most High, we're going to go into chapter 21 of Isaiah. And so before we do this, though, as is our, and then last time, as some of you saw, I was recording. I was just desperately trying to get something up so that it was recording somewhere. And so I ended up recording myself. My wife was not happy with that because my bed wasn't made behind me. I didn't have my teeth in, and she was not happy with any of that. And she woke me up from my Sabbath afternoon nap to let me know that. So that's why I took it down. As now I have my teeth are in, so hopefully the bed is made and whatever. So that's what we're doing. Okay. Just to let you all know. Because quite frankly, I really don't care. I'm just here to bring a message. That's my only purpose, is to bring a message. The message that the Father has given me to bring and to teach. That's all I care about. I don't care who likes it. I don't care who doesn't like it. Really, honestly, I'm just being honest with you. Okay. And so whoever's there is there. Whoever's not is not. Ezekiel was told to prophesy to the wind and to the valley of dry bones, right? And so it's not about who's listening and who's not. John the Baptist was out in the middle of nowhere and was told to preach out there, and people came that was supposed to hear the word. So that's the way it is. And so to me, as long as my conscience is clear and I'm bringing what the Father has put on my spirit to bring from His word, nothing else matters. What anybody says doesn't matter. Whatever the outcome doesn't matter, as long as that gets done. So we're going to be going, by the grace of the Most High, into Isaiah 20 and 21 this evening. But before we do that, I want to definitely ask the Father to bring us His Spirit today, so that we would bring Him glory and honor as we study His Word, and as we fellowship in that. So we ask for His Spirit to guide us. Also, I'm asking for prayer for the scattered people of the children of Israel, His true children of Israel, that are scattered all over this planet and are being prepared. Among them, the 144,000 being prepared to receive a seal of Father's Spirit to hasten the return of Messiah, who will be at the right hand of the Father. Praise the Most High Yah. Also, all of the people that are negatively affected by this coronavirus, and we'll talk more about that tonight as well, as it is related to what we're studying. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. So we're going to pray for the people also that are affected. Some people affected financially, some people affected in their health. Yeah, in fact, let me write that down. Okay. I got you, Bathaman. Let me see. I got you down here for health. I got you down. Wow. Okay, Kimmy. Let me get that. Let me get that. Let me get that. Yeah, I got you in here somewhere. Okay. Okay. I'll pray for his health and for his spirit as well, right? Because we don't know the Father's will, and for his spirit as well. That the Most High will bless him in his spirit as well. Any other? Yeah, that that doesn't matter to the Father. He rip off that label real quick, especially when the man's life is on the line. He rip off them labels real quick and go right to the heart of the situation. Praise the Most High. Yeah. What's TP? What's TP, sister? What's TP? What's that? I don't know what that is. Okay. Stop. Okay. All right. Any other prayer? Any other prayer requests? Any any other prayer requests? Any other prayer requests? And I also want to thank sisters who are going to join us in praying for brothers and sisters who are going to join us in praying for the Father's Spirit, for his scattered chosen people, as well as these requests for Kimmy, for Bathaman and others as well. Okay. Any other prayer requests? You good? Okay. Let's have a word of prayer so we can get started. Heavenly Father, we give you the praise, the honor, and the glory. Regardless of whatever's going on, we give you the praise, the honor, and glory because we know at the end of the day, your will is done. As we get ready to go into your word this day, we pray first that all of our shortcomings, our sins, be forgiven in the blood of Messiah and be covered by your perfect righteousness given through Messiah. And as we go into your word, guide and direct our paths. For all we want, all we care about is to bring honor and glory to your holy name. Give us the power of your grace that as you reveal truth to us, we be obedient. And in our obedience, give you the praise. We pray also for all of these special requests for the scattered sheep of your chosen people all over this planet that you are now preparing for the events soon to come upon us. We also pray for Bathaman. We pray for Kimmy's uncle and all the brothers and sisters on this list around the earth whose requests you know as you know every star by name. In the name of the Messiah, how shall we pray? Amen. Okay. Brothers and sisters, let me just start by mentioning the corona situation. Let me start by mentioning the corona situation. I'm sorry, those on YouTube, I did not even look on YouTube to see if somebody had prayer requests. Please forgive me for that. May the Most High bless your requests as well, as you all also are the children of Israel. Let me start by mentioning this corona situation, brothers and sisters. What we are experiencing, I want to make sure you can hear me. Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you all hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. You got me? Okay, good. What you are experiencing is a dress rehearsal. That's what you're experiencing, a dress rehearsal. What do I mean by that? Brothers and sisters, whenever you see stock markets gyrating like this, whenever you see situations like this and it seems chaotic, this is planned. It's planned by spiritual wickedness in high places. All right? Let me explain this to you. Our enemy, our Satan, is a powerful being, no weak being. All the computers in the world do not match his mind. You hear what I said? All the computers in the world do not match his mind. And yet, above him is Messiah, Yahushua, and Yahoo, Yah that knows every star by an individual name. is above him. Yah that knows every blade of grass, every snowflake, every individual that ever lived on the planet, and knows all about them and every action they have done. You see, they got a book of life. That's where the righteous are written. They also have a book, another book that all the deeds, every thought, every motive is written. And the books are written for us to examine. They're not written for Yah. He knows already, accurately, everything. Okay? So this is a dress rehearsal. I went to the stores today, and of course people were going crazy. They were going crazy. I went and I got some bananas, little grapes. I had to get some mayonnaise. I think I picked up what else? I picked up a couple of little knick-knacky things. Okay, people were going crazy. The aisles were mostly empty in terms of the food. People were packing up. So I asked one of the workers, in fact, the cashier that was checking me out. I said, checking out my stuff. I said, are you guys short on food? She says, oh no. She said, every night we get trucks that come in. I said, but the food. She said, yes, but the people keep coming. They keep coming, she said. No matter how much food we have. So in other words, people are going crazy not because they don't have food. No. They're panicking at the idea that they may not have it. Okay? And it's not just here in Washington, D.C. area. It's in New York. It's everywhere. It's happening. All right? Dress rehearsal. Because that the spiritual wickedness in high places is taking note of how people act in these scenarios. But let me tell you something more important than that. The Most High is training his people. Because let me tell you, brothers and sisters, we must be used to, as a habit. Listen to me now. We must, as a habit, be used to hearing the voice of the Most High Spirit. We must be used to hearing his instruction and understanding what he gives us from his word. And I praise him. You know why I praise him? About almost 2 weeks ago, I went to Costco. Generally, every 2 weeks, my wife and I, we get paid. We go to Costco and get stuff for the next couple of weeks, whatever, some bulk items. So I went, and it's usually crowded on Sunday here in Northern Virginia in Costco. But this particular Sunday, this is the one before this last one, it was crazier, much crazier. As a matter of fact, I've only seen it like that either when they're predicting a major snowstorm, right? So people go in and they pack up because they don't know when they'll be able to get dug out of the snowstorm that they're predicting. Or B, it's a major holiday like a Thanksgiving or a Christmas, particularly, where people are just, they're expecting company or whatever, and they just pop. It was like that, and at first I didn't know what it was, and I went to look for water, and the water we normally get was all gone, and I had to just grab what I could get. So I realized something was going on. It still didn't hit me. Then when I'm on the line, and the line is always long, but this time was at least, I'm not exaggerating, 4 times longer than it normally is. I mean, it was winding around aisles, the line for the cashier. Then it hit me. And I thought, this was 2 weeks ago. And I thought, it's this coronavirus thing. And you know what came to my mind, brethren? I'm going to be honest with you. What came to my mind? I said, it must not be nothing because the Father would have showed me. Do you hear what I said? I said, it must not be nothing because the Father would have showed me. And brothers and sisters, it came to me that this is where we need to be. We need to be so connected to the Father's Spirit. Because look, Messiah told us, he taught us, he told the disciples, he said, everything that the Father shows me, I reveal to you. Isn't that what he said? He said that you may know before. He tells you before it happened. He never keeps a secret from his people. He doesn't do it. Amos said, surely Yah will do nothing but reveal his secrets to his servants, the prophets. There's nothing that they will know that they don't let us know in advance. And again, let's go to the verse we go to in these situations, just to illustrate this point. We just already mentioned Amos, right? Amos chapter 3. That's one witness. Here's Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. Revelation 1 1. Notice Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. This is the meaning, the reason for prophecy. The reason for prophecy. Why do we have prophecy? What is it? What is it for? Just so that people can read your fortune teller or whatever? No, there's a reason for it. Notice the revelation of Yahushua, the Messiah, which Yahweh gave unto him. Why? To show unto his servants, not everybody, things, what things? Which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant Yachanan, who bear record of the word of Yahweh and of the testimony of the Messiah Yahushua, and of all things what he saw. Let's look at this again. We cannot go over this too many times. The prophecy came from the Father. It was a prophecy of Messiah, and the Father gave it to Messiah. Messiah turned around and gave it to the angel to send to his prophet, and his prophet bear witness. And the purpose of this whole thing was to show his servants things which must shortly come to pass. Now let's talk about this for a quick second now before we move on. It's for his servants. Let me ask you a question. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Everybody got me? I'm on the Power Talk side, so I can't even see the YouTube side. So you guys bear with me on the YouTube side. Okay. But here's a question. Are the people that are considered his servants, the ones that are receiving these things, are they in the majority on planet Earth? Or are they in the minority on planet Earth? Are they majority or minority on planet Earth? The people that he's talking about here, to show his servants, they are the vast minority. As a matter of fact, there's a word that the Bible uses to describe this minority. He calls it what? A remnant, does he not? I mean, there's too many witnesses. There's too many witnesses to see for that one. He calls it, and we're going to run into it. Obviously, running into remnant in prophecy is like, running into a raindrop in the rain. I mean, you're going to run into it. That's all he talks about, remnant. So let's think about that. His servants are a remnant on the earth. Listen now. That means only a remnant of people is going to understand what's getting ready to happen. The majority of people have no idea what's getting ready to happen. Do you hear what I'm saying? So that when I'm walking through the store today and I'm seeing the people, even my daughter reported, a friend of hers went to get a pack of water and turned to go down the aisle to get something else. And a woman who already had 4 stacks of packs of water was going to steal her water. And there's no shortage of anything, and people acting like this. Yes. Brothers and sisters, this is dress rehearsal. What they going to do when it really breaks off? What they going to do when these pestilences start to come on a large scale? I'm talking about, this is just a dress rehearsal, man. This is a little bit harder than a flu. But when it really comes, when there's scabs and sores, when the heat comes down real hard on people, when stuff is being burnt up and you can't drink the water, what they going to do then? And listen, brothers and sisters, listen. There are people out here beating up Chinese people. Beating up Chinese people. You hear me? What they going to do? What you going to do when they say it's them Hebrew Israelites that's causing all of this problem? What you going to do then? Because brothers and sisters, it's coming. This is just a dress rehearsal, man. It's coming. And let me tell you, all the effort and discipline and determination in the world will not help you if you don't have the Father's Spirit resting on you. Did you hear what I said? All the effort and discipline and determination in the world will not help you at that time. Listen, Peter was disciplined and determined. Kaffa was determined. He told Messiah, he said, listen, I'll die for you. That brother meant what he said. Meant what he said. And what happened that very night? He denying he even know Messiah. See? All the effort and determination, that's all good. I'm not saying they don't have their place. But in this kind of battle right here, this kind of battle where you're dealing with a spiritual war with an enemy that is powerful and a father that's powerful but only working for his own people. I'm just trying to be honest with you. This is more serious than anything in the history of this planet, brothers and sisters. It really is. Really is. And so we need to be covered, to be drenched in the Father's Spirit. We need the Father Spirit all on us, man. We need to be overflowing. Messiah said, he that followed Messiah, he said, out of his belly shall flow what? Rivers of living water. That's the Father's Spirit. We need, brothers, I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to you. I'm telling you. See, I'm not worried about, I was walking through the store and I said, what's the worst thing? Okay, I don't have no more food for a while. I'll just be hungry. That's what I thought. I said, I'll just be hungry. Okay, I'll just be hungry. I'm not worried about that. You know what I'm concerned with? When the Father's Spirit is withdrawn from people, I don't want it withdrawn from me. You hear what I'm saying? And I shuck and jive and act a fool like everybody else. But I get on my knees every day, couple of times, asking for his spirit, man. I'm being real with you. I can't do no other. Okay. So what we are seeing this week is a dress rehearsal, and brothers and sisters. First, let's get done with Isaiah 20, because before we get to 21, I got some other scriptures obviously I would like to share. But let's go to Isaiah 20. Now, we did this a couple times, and remember now when we did Isaiah 19, remember how we were talking about how Isaiah 20 actually come before 19. Remember how 19 showed us. What did 19 show us? 19 showed us redemption for Ham, didn't it? Remember that last week? 19 showed us redemption for Ham. See, brothers and sisters, now, let me just real quick just tell you how this breaks down. Now, in the beginning, after the flood, the Hamite ruled the earth. The Hamite ruled the earth. Y'all hear me? It was Cush, Mizraim, and Cush begot Nimrod, and them brothers ruled this planet. They are not even caught up yet. I mean, when I say they, the powers that rule in the spiritual wickedness that Asatan is using out of the Japhet powers today to rule this earth, they haven't even begun to catch up with what them brothers knew 5,000, 6,000 years ago. They haven't caught up with it yet. They don't know how them pyramids have been, how that's standing up like that. They still haven't caught up with the mathematics and the geometry that it took to put that stuff together. They haven't caught up with that yet. Brothers ruled the planet, but they got caught up. Hasatan led them to be caught up himself. They started thinking they was gods. Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yahweh, like me in front of Yahweh, like he thought he was a god. So he had to confound the language to show them they wasn't the Most High, right? So that was then. Then, of course, we see over time, Babylon got spanked. Mizraim got spanked. Cush got spanked. Not only then, but later on, when the powers that rose out of the north, out of Yafet's tribe, when all them started coming, everybody caught it from them people. And listen, let me just preface it, because I don't want anybody to think, oh, he hates white people. No, it ain't that. I'm just giving you the Bible history. Ham ruled the earth for a couple thousand years. Then came Yafet. Yafet been running things now for, good 2,500, 3,000 years. Started off with the Greeks. And then it went for the Medes and the Persians, which, little Yafet, little Ham, little Semite in there too. Then you went straight Yafet with the Greeks. Then you went straight Yafet with the Romans. And then you had the rise of Asatan's masterpiece of religious deception, Christianity and the Roman Catholic Church, followed very closely by Islam. And when them brothers started coming out of Europe and spreading themselves all over the planet, we got what we got right now. Okay? The Most High has already shown us in Ezekiel chapter 39, that there's gonna be people out of Yafet that are saved. And we saw Isaiah chapter 14, some of them are gonna be captives, they're gonna be our slaves. Okay. Some of them are gonna come to the Messiah, the Hebrew Messiah, before that and be part of the kingdom. Some of y'all know that. Okay. That's already happening. We're seeing it. And of course, when we looked at chapter 19 of Isaiah, we saw redemption for Ham. We saw Ham get it. Ham gonna hear the word out of Judah. Yeah. It's already happening, brothers and sisters. People in Africa waking up. Y'all know that, right? It's already happening. And I'm not talking about, I'm not even talking about like the people that knew their Hebrews, like the Igbo tribe and the Limbas and them. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about people that hear from them people and understand who the Hebrews are and they come from the truth. Hamitic people. Hamitic people. Some of them coming too now. So, but before they came, as we know, as Hebrews, we totally understand what it means to be spanked. Right? We totally understand what it means to be spanked. We totally get that. We totally get that on all levels. As a national people, going into slavery and being under Jim Crow and all that. And even on the down to personal level, you see, Caucasian people don't lay into the behinds of their kids like Hebrews. I'm not, I'm telling the truth, right? They don't. They just don't. I wish I was a kid boy, my father, man, please. And I'm grateful, because who knows where I'd have been, But and my son tells me the same thing. My oldest boy, I apologized to him for how I treated him when he was little. He said, "Daddy, if you didn't do that, I'd be in jail now." He's a police officer. He said, "I'd be in jail if you didn't be tough on me like that. If you didn't put on my behind like that." And I thought, man, I should have did that. But he's like, "Nah, you had to do that." He said, "I'll be in jail." But so we know all about catching the spanking. We know all about that, right? So therefore, we can understand that if Ham is going to get some salvation, what's going to happen? Well, he got to get spanked. So there we go. Isaiah chapter 20. Isaiah chapter 20. And again, I just want to stress, we're looking at literal local things that actually happen that actually mean worldwide future things in prophetic terms. We're reading prophecy, okay? So Isaiah chapter 20, let's begin. This is a short chapter. Let's begin. Let's go from verse 1 and go from verse 1 down to verse 2. Isaiah chapter 20. Is this thing working? I hope it is. I'm looking at the periscope too. From verse 1 and 2. In the year that Tartan came unto Ashdod, when Sargon, the king of Assyria, sent him and fought against Ashdod and took it. At the same time spake Yahweh by Yeshaiah, the son of Amos, saying, Go and loose the sackcloth from off thy loins, and put off thy shoe from thy foot. And he did so, walking naked and barefoot. And again, I stressed before, this is not the first prophet, or should I say the only prophet, because I'm not sure of the timeline. Well, he is factually sure. But anyway, this is not the only prophet in the Bible that was told to walk around naked and barefoot. Tell me, here's a quiz. Who was the other prophet that was told to walk naked and barefoot? There was another prophet that was told to do that in front of his people, Israel. That's exactly right. It was Ezekiel. Same thing. And for pretty much the same reason. Okay, here you go. Why was he told to go barefoot? You ask why? Let's look. Isaiah chapter 20, verse 3. And Yahweh said, like as my servant Yeshaya, in Isaiah is Yeshaya, hath walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign and wonder upon Egypt and upon Ethiopia. Now wait, let me start here. Stop here. We praise Yah because he gave us this word for such a time as this, right? This word was given in the language of the Japhet people. The English language is Japhet. We being taken captive into Japhet, learn that language. He took his Hebrew word and he brought it to a son of Japhet from the Catholic Church, no less, William Tyndale. And that brother translated most of this stuff. See, King James Version is 80% word for word from the Tyndale Bible. They strangled that brother and burned him at the stake, which is why he didn't finish. Then they finished the 20% of it and called it the King James, 1611. But this thing came from William Tyndale. And then he didn't know what he was writing. He said, here, for all the people talking about, well, that's white man's Bible. Listen. Y'all hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Watch this. Listen. Testing 1. Okay, good. Listen. For somebody to say this is a white man's Bible, there's a couple of problems with that. A couple of problems. Problem number 1. If this was a white man, so-called white man, because there's no such thing as a white man. We know they're Caucasian, but they say a white man's Bible, so-called white man. If this was his Bible, right, the implication is that he would be exalting himself if he wrote this book for himself, right? You would think that, like, if I'm writing a book and I'm trying to flatter myself, right, I'm gonna make myself look good in the book, right? I mean, I'll make myself look good. I'm not gonna look bad in the book if I'm writing it for my people, right? But in this book, Japhet is gonna be destroyed. In this book, Japhet's religion is an abomination to the Most High. In this book, most of these people are black. So therefore, if this Caucasian man wrote it, he must have been faithful in the translation. I mean, we can assume, because he wasn't favoring his own people, obviously. He definitely wasn't favoring the Catholic Church when you study this thing out. Right? So this whole thing about it being a white man's book is stupid. Just plain straight up stupid and ignorant. And it amazes me how ignorant some of our people are. But that's prophesied too, isn't it? Praise Yah for his awakening. Anyway, this book was given to the Caucasian man for him to stupidly give it to us. And for us to awaken and see it and understand what's happening, because it's given to the Hebrew to teach this thing to the world, brothers and sisters. We are the only people ordained to give this thing out to the earth. We read the scripture. He didn't give this to no other people. They could translate it. And that's what he did. He translated in his language. Okay. And here we come. Not even in our language. A language that he said, you're going to get to a strange people in a strange tongue. Here we are. English is not our original language. Hebrew is. Our names wasn't Smith and Jones, as Brother Malcolm said, and Bush and Powell. That's it. They don't have names like that in this Bible. That wasn't our original name. And yet we got their culture, we got their language, boom, and he's waking us up in this thing. So now I said all that to say verse 3 talks about Egypt and Ethiopia, but he's giving us the understanding Egypt is Mizraim. Caucasian man gave him the name Egypt. The real name is Mizraim. Alexandria was named after Alexander the so-called Great from Greece. Real name of the place was Kemet. Ethiopia, we know to be Cush. Right? Praise Yah. So he's talking about Cush and Mizraim, Hamites. Hamites. He said, this is for y'all. This barefoot naked thing, this is for y'all. Okay. Verse 4. Verse 4. So shall the king of Assyria lead away Egyptians prisoners and Ethiopians captives, young, old, naked, and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Mizraim or Egypt. Yes, Assyrians. Now, here's a quiz. We studied this now. We did it extra because the stupid thing stopped working. So we did it extra. Y'all should know this. Talk to me now. There's Shem, there's Ham, there's Yafet. Where does Assyria come from? Is it Shem? Is it Ham? Is it Yafet? Where does Assyria come from? Assyrians that's going to lead the Hamites here. Where they come from? Y'all hear me, right? Where they come from? Let me see on YouTube. Y'all got it? Nope, they didn't come from Ham. The Assyrians did not come from Ham. We studied this. Where they come from? Where they come from? They did not come from Ham. Now it should be obvious, right? Where the Assyrians come from? They come from. Let me give you another hint. Let me give you another hint. They came from a brother. The name came from Ashur. Ashur was a child of Shem. Let me show you. Genesis chapter 10. Genesis chapter 10. Genesis chapter 10. Y'all guessing and stuff. Genesis chapter 10. Look. Genesis 10, verse 22. Look at Genesis 10, 22. Watch this. Genesis 10, 22. The children of Shem. That's the oldest boy. The children of Shem. Elam or Elam and Ashur. Look at that. Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. See, there he is, Ashur. He's a Semite. He's a Semite. Now he's often confused with the Hamites, and I totally understand that. You know why? Because Nimrod came to where he was and blew it up, and built his empire there. Ashur went there and he built up Nineveh, right? But then Nimrod came down there and built up Shinar in the same area, and they end up being closely aligned. That's why a lot of people, even myself at one time, thought the Assyrians were Hamites, but no, they were Semites. And so they took Ethiopia and in Egypt captive, and that's historically a fact. It was about the same time period that the northern kingdom was scattered, that Assyria was really at its height of its strength, and they were taking captives of Ethiopians, Egyptians, Israelites. They were going off. They were taking care of business at that time. It's about 700 years BCE, 700, 750. They were doing their thing. But of course, later on, when we read chapter 19, Assyria was going to get spanked too. And that's what they did too. They got spanked too. And then the Muslims came through many years later. And you got what you got now is Iraq, and you got Iran, and you got Turkey, and you got, and then Turkey is where most of the Assyrians, they said geographically, the ones that's left are in Turkey. Yeah. Yeah. Praise the Most High. So everybody got spanked at the end. So now let's look at Isaiah chapter 20, verse 5 and 6. Isaiah 20, 5 and 6. This is just like the warm-up, finishing up what unfinished business from last week and the week before that. Isaiah 20, 5 and 6. And they shall be afraid and ashamed of Ethiopia, their expectation, of Egypt, their glory. And the inhabitant of this isle shall say in that day, behold, such is our expectation. Whether we flee for help to be delivered from the king of Assyria, and how shall we escape? So they got spanked, and to this day, in the Bible later on, I think it was in chapter 19, in other places, it shows us that Egypt would forever be a weak kingdom, and that's what it is. Egypt, or Mizraim, was on top, literally running the earth with his brothers, Cush, and then, of course, Cush begot Nimrod, running the earth. But even to this day, first they were overrun by the French and overrun by the Germans and the Greeks, and then the real original Egyptians are in the southern part of the nation right now, whereas the mixture with the Europeans kind of, it's always about that skin color. Closer you can get to that Yafet color, the more prominent you become, and that's in Egypt too. Same thing. But at the end, they're going to get salvation. Just said, let me just show you that. And we did that in chapter 19. That comes later. Let's see. I'm going to start at chapter 19. Could we just read verse 17, 18, let's see, from verse 17 down to verse 21. This is showing the future after they got spanked, showing where we are coming right now, actually. Notice from verse 17 down to verse 21, chapter 19, Isaiah. In the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Mizraim. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of Yahweh of hosts, which he hath determined against it. In that day shall 5 cities in the land of Mizraim speak the language of Canaan, and swear by yet to Yahweh of hosts. One shall be called the city of destruction. In that day shall there be an altar to Yahweh in the midst of the land of Mizraim, and a pillar at the border thereof to Yahweh. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto Yahweh of hosts in the land of Mizraim, for they shall cry unto Yahweh, and because of the oppressors, just like us, and he shall send them a savior and a great one. Who's that? We know that's Yahweh Shah. And he shall deliver them. And Yahweh shall be known to Mizraim, and the Mizraim shall know Yahweh in that day, and shall do sacrifice and oblation. Yea, they shall vow unto Yahweh and perform it. Say, yeah, that's what's going on, brothers and sisters. You know what that's called? You know what that's called? What we call that? The loud cry. What's the loud cry? What is that? That's what we're studying today in Isaiah chapter 21. That's the message of the 144,000. Watch. Let's go to Revelation chapter 18. Revelation chapter 8. And this same message, which we're going to read in Isaiah 21, is also in Jeremiah chapter 50 and 51. It's also in Revelation chapter 18. Same message. We praise Yah. Because brothers and sisters, the word, this word that some people talk about is not the word of the Most High. This is not the perfect, this is the perfect word. Let me tell you something. I'm not here to argue with anybody. I'm just not. Believe it. If you don't want to believe it, don't believe it. But I'm trusting in this word all the way through, brothers and sisters. We're going to come through. Okay, this word gonna guide us through, because it's more, brothers and sisters. Let me tell you something. It's more than just words on a page, man. No, it is. You know why I say that? It's spirit led. This is not just words on the page. The Most High can speak to you and me through the pages of this word, because His Spirit put these words in them prophets' mouths, man. They were all Hebrew prophets, all of them. And His Spirit put these things down here. Therefore, He could be talking to us, not just what it's saying, He could be going beyond that. We need to understand and respect the Most High's word, man. That's what I'm saying. Not me, not no prophet, teachers, whatever. Lean on it. Lean on it. Depend on it. This is what getting us through. It ain't no church, it ain't no denomination, not no 501c corporation, not no mosque, not nobody's synagogue, not nobody's camp. You don't need none of that. You and the Father. That's the majority. That's all you need. And it's more than just you and Him, because he got angels. He got angels fighting in this war that's on our side, brothers and sisters. How many times we don't even know? We're going to find out when we in the land, in the kingdom, which is going to be soon, but we're going to find out how often angels that we can't even see have protected us, have kept us from disaster. When the enemy meant for us to be destroyed, they protect us. Let's say, Bible, the angel of Yahweh encamp around about them that fear Him and deliver them. Does it? Praise the Most High. Oh, yeah. Revelation chapter 18. See, let's look at this. Revelation chapter 18. Let's start at verse 1 and let's stop there for a second. Revelation chapter 18, verse 1. Okay, watch this. Thank you, Isha. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with His glory. Let me stop right here. First of all, remember earlier we looked at Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1. And you recall, as we looked at that, we noted that it was the Father that gave Messiah the revelation of Messiah. And Messiah turned around, give it to an angel, okay, who brought it to the prophet, who bore witness. of the message. Okay. Let us understand something. Whenever the book of Revelation mentions an angel, listen to me now. That is a messenger bearing a message from Messiah who got it from the Father to his servants. Are you hearing me? I'm trying to be as plain and as deliberate as I can with this, because it's very important. Because brothers and sisters, you and I are living in a time when they're coming up and down from the heavens down here. They're coming back and forth. They're bringing messages to his people. The 144,000 receiving the messages. We are being prepared right now. It's no joke. And no, you're not going to see it on television. You definitely not seeing it on CNN, MSNBC, whatever. You're not seeing it on there. Don't look there. This revolution will not be televised. And it's definitely happening. So whenever you see an angel, he's bringing a message. Now, listen. Here's the question. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Are you ready? Ready for the question? Here's a chance for you to redeem yourself. Power. 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 The Bible says all power belongs to Yah. How does he manifest that power in his people? This is an easy one now. How does he manifest that power in his people? There you go. I told you it was easy, right? It's through his spirit. That's right. We're talking about his spirit. Now, hold on. Keep at Revelation 18:1. He said, I saw an angel come down from him having great power. You see that, right? It said, having great power. Okay. Hold your finger there. You'll come right back to that. Acts chapter 1. Acts chapter 1. Now, we already made mention of Ezekiel chapter 37, where Ezekiel was told, prophesy to the wind, prophesy to the bones, and the spirit came. We know we made mention of that. That's a witness. Here's another one. Acts chapter 1. I find this how Christians ignore this. Watch what the disciples asked Messiah, and watch how Messiah answered them back. Acts chapter 1. Let's see. I'm going to start at verse 4 and go down to verse 8. Acts chapter 1. Pay close attention now. From verse 4 to verse 8. Ready? Here we go. We're going to come right back to Revelation chapter 18 and then go right back over to Isaiah eventually, okay? I ain't forgot that. And being assembled together with them, commanded them that they should not depart from Jerusalem, but wait for the promise of the Father, which says he, ye have heard of me. For ye come and truly baptized with water, but ye, that is you disciples, be baptized the set apart spirit not many days hence. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Master, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? Notice that question. And he said unto them, it is not for you, my disciples, to know the times or the seasons which the Father had put in his own power. We'll talk about that in a second. But ye, my disciples, shall receive power after the set apart spirit is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me in both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost parts of the earth. Stop right here. Now look, he said to his disciples at that time, it's not for you to know the times or the seasons. That's first century. He's saying them brothers that were there with him, they weren't going to know. Did you hear him? They weren't going to know. First century brothers, it's not for you to know the times or the seasons. That's why he said, no man knows the days and hours. Who was he talking to? He was talking to the disciples in the first century. We're going to know the day now. You say, why? He said, no man knows the day. See, don't be like Christians and just look at one verse and sit it on the island and think you got a whole doctrine. Listen, We understand who believe that Messiah is going to return. He's going to return from the third heaven. He's going to return from the most holy place there, and he's going to come establish his kingdom here. He's going to deliver us. He's going to destroy the Gentiles and they Babylon, right? We know that's going to happen. Bible says it. Ezekiel 30, Ezekiel 39, Revelation chapter 19, Revelation chapter 20. He says in lots of places. Isaiah chapter 24, which you're going to read soon. Isaiah chapter 61, Isaiah chapter 60. He said Isaiah chapter 6. I can go on and on. There's too many witnesses. We know he's going to do that. Okay? So when he gets ready to do that, Father's going to send him, is he not? Father's going to say, son, go do what you got to do. Time for business. Therefore, at some point, Messiah will know when it's time to come. When it's time to, he's going to, so the Father will tell him. Am I right or not? And if the Father tells Messiah, guess who Messiah is going to share it with? His disciples. So at some point, we're going to know in Revelation, when somebody really study it, Revelation chapter 10 actually shows us that. That's another story for another day. When we go back to study Revelation, we'll show you that we do have a Revelation series, right, Isha, on our website, right? We got that. And you can go look at it. But he does show us that he's going to tell us that, okay? Along with Isaiah chapter 30 as well, but I'm just giving away some things now, just for free. All right, so they weren't going to know, but they asked, will thou at this time restore the kingdom? So the kingdom is going to be restored. He's telling us he's going to restore the kingdom to Israel. And again, we see many witnesses to that effect. And we're going to read a whole bunch about that in Isaiah. And we already have, actually. And there's much more to read about that. So he's going to restore the kingdom to his chosen people, Israel. The ones that were in slave chains, the one that went about naked, the one that had chains around their neck and went on slave ships. The one that was given unclean, defiled food to eat in their enemy's land, like Ezekiel chapter 4 tells us. They're going to be restored. That's part of this awakening. But the key reason we're over here is not for that. In order for them to be witnesses unto him in Jerusalem and Judea and Samaria and to the uttermost parts of the earth, in order for them to do that, he said, you need power. In order to be witnesses, you need, he said, power. Notice, he didn't say you need guns. He didn't say you need spears. He said you need power. He's Yahweh's son. He doesn't change. It's the same thing with us. Anything Yah wants us to accomplish on his behalf requires him to endow us with power. Okay? There is nothing available on planet Earth. Listen to me now. There is no machine, computer, bomb available to overcome Yah's power and his spirit. There's nothing available. So when he give us that, it's game over. It's game over. We don't need money for that. We don't need to start businesses for that. We don't need camps for that. We need power. Now, back in the 60s, brothers like Kwame Ture and Fred Hampton, they were trying to get political power. And I was proud of them, brother. I love them, brother. Malcolm X, they were trying to get political power. Well, the problem is you trying to get political power, listen now, in your enemy's land. How you gonna get political? I mean, I'm not laughing at the brothers because we got the hindsight, 2020, right? But I'm just saying, you can't get political power in your enemy's land. They did not bring you here in chains to let you get power in their system. Are you hearing me? We are citizens of the countries of this earth, definitely. But above that, We citizens of a nation of Israel, a scattered nation. And the capital city of that nation is the New Jerusalem. And that government is going to overcome all governments. And as we read in Revelation chapter 19, it's going to be a violent overthrow. A violent overthrow. This is not going to be no peaceful, no white Jesus peaceful. No. He coming in righteousness to make war. It's no joke. You know why? Let me explain to you why, just in case people say, oh, he's preaching fear. Oh, I'm so scared. Let me tell you why. For the last 6,000 years, Yah's name, his character, his son, his truth have been blasphemed, misrepresented. He allowed Asatan to make fun of him, to denigrate him for 6,000 years. And that line of the tribe of Judah is about to wake up. And when he does, he's going to make up for old and new. The Bible shows us. Right now, for all this corona fakeness and all this $1 trillion they pumping into Wall Street and all these billionaires having their fun, right now, time of grace. Last vestiges of it, though. His spirit's withdrawn from these people and is resting on his chosen ones. This is the time right now. Remember now, he said, hold the wings until the servants of the Most High are sealed in their foreheads. We ain't seen it yet, brothers and sisters. Don't panic when the rest of the world panics over these things. Don't. Let's assume for the sake of argument that you could die from this corona thing, right? You could just die. You walk into the wrong place, somebody sneeze on you, and you dead, right? Okay. Is that the worst that can happen? All right. See, when you serve Yah, death ain't going to stop what's going to happen, brothers and sisters. He could raise you back from that. I know I sound crazy to y'all. I'm not telling you nothing but that's not in the word. His spirit, he called up, he stood before that grave and said, Lazarus, come forth. That boy came out in his grave clothes after he started rotting. He called Ezekiel to stand, call the bones back to life. Boom. You're talking about a God that speaks things into existence and speaks things out of existence. And remember, Messiah came to destroy the fear of death, brothers and sisters. Destroy that. When his spirit resting on you, you're not worried about that. Let the heathen worry about that. That's what Asatan said. He said, yea, skin for skin. All that a man have, he'll give for his life. Yes, they will when they don't know the Most High. Absolutely. You know how many Christians out here panicking? Straight panicking. They go to church on Sunday for white Jesus, but he must not be enough because they straight panicking, stealing water from people and whatnot. And they ain't even missing nothing yet. Revelation chapter 18. So we need power. So here, Revelation 18, look at verse 1 again now. Revelation 18, verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. This is something, brothers and sisters. This messenger came with great, the Bible does, let me ask you, does the Bible exaggerate? Does it exaggerate? So when he say great power, can you imagine? See what that is? That's the one that came down, and then he looked around, 144,000 wasn't ready. He started going back up with the seal. And while he's going up, he looked around, he said, hold the winds to the servant to seal. He's taking the seal with him. Well, now he'll come back. And he got the seal with him. in the great power of the Spirit of the Father. He's putting it on 144,000. And they're going to bring this message of Revelation 18. It's already started. You know how I say it's already started? Because brothers and sisters, like I said before, it's not, I mean, I know it appears when you see the Bible, sometimes, things just happen like that. And Messiah could say, stand up, and somebody crippled could stand up. He say somebody that's dead, come up, and the man could come up, right? But most of the time with these things, they happen like over a season. Like they happen gradually. Like it doesn't become like it goes 0 degrees and all of a sudden it's 100 degrees. No, it's 0 degrees in February and then it slowly gets warm. And all of a sudden it's July. Boom, it's 100 degrees, right? Well, that's how this is going to be. His Spirit is coming on us now. He's preparing us. It's like a whisper right now. But it's going to get louder and louder and louder. And not because of the volume of the voice, because of the power that he's placing in us. And it's going to scare the heathen. And you know how heathen react when they get scared? You saw it this week. How they act? Beating people up because they Chinese, tripping, running around, going around, buying all the food up, tripping. That's how they act when they're scared. It's going to be much worse than this. So he's coming down from the glory with power. That power is given to his people. And the message starts in verse 2. Revelation chapter 8. And again, this message we're going to read in Isaiah. We're going to read it. We've read it in Jeremiah. Same message. Revelation chapter 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hole of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Yes, Babylon is finished. Brothers and sisters, this whole geopolitical system that's worldwide in scope, that's run by central banks all over the earth, that's controlled by politicians and people in high places that worship the devil directly and ultimately Rome. They're running all this for power and profit. At the top of the pyramid is Asatan with Roman Catholic Church. Then it branches out as Jesuits and all their various orders, the Dominicans, Knights of Malta, Committee of 300. It branches out. And you got various people from different stages of life. You got people that are entertainers that are in. You know how you can know entertainer that's in? How much money they making. When they over 100, 200 million, 300 million, they made the deal. You know how I thought about that? You know who made me see that, really? Madonna. I'm from New York, right? Any summer day in New York, if you down, I used to work down on Wall Street area. I was a clerk a long time ago. And I used to like coming out. I'm just going to be honest with you. I like coming out lunchtime because you could see women from all over the world, the best looking women you ever seen if you're a brother, all over the earth down there at lunchtime. This is a long time ago, and I know it's like that now. You could see it. And I used to say, and I look at Madonna and I said, this chick don't look like anything, like compared to what I see on the street. And they be puffing up and putting all kind of thing on her skin. And why she ain't no more talented or good looking than all the other ones I'm seeing out here. That's when I understood. There's something more than that. It's not just talent. It ain't looks. There's something higher than this here. She made the deal. Sold out to Asatan. He chose her. Boom. Everybody that you see, Jay-Z, all these, Beyonce, Denzel, Oprah. He chose them. They sold to him. They belong to him. And he rewards them. Just trying to be honest and straight with you. It's how it is, but I don't care how nice they are. That don't matter. So they made that deal. And so they got people like that in different areas: politics, business, sports, entertainment. You got people like that in all these different areas of life that belong to him. And he places them high so that people like us can look at them and we can admire them and we want to be like them. Right? Like, think of Kardashian. What talent does the Kardashian bring to the table? Like, Michael Jackson could sing and dance like nobody's business, right? No matter whose side that brother's on, I've seen that brother live. That brother could go now. He had talent. He brings something to the table. What is it that the Kardashians bring to the table? Instead, injected buttocks. What they bringing to the table? And yet, I think we can agree, extremely wealthy. Right? Bringing nothing to the table. Why? Made the deal. Made the deal. That's a pure, simple, made the deal. And they're not even bringing no talent to the table. Made a deal. See? At least Madonna, sorry behind, could dance and sing a little bit. Kardashian can't even do that. Yeah, they getting paid. Made a deal. Absolutely. Or one of them father was O.J. Simpson, but that's another story. O.J. got around, but that's another story. So anyway, these people are making money off of this system. And so everything you see, this coronavirus, before this, the crash of 2008, and all of these things, any of these situations that engineered by man, believe it, there's somebody getting paid from these situations. They get paid. Whenever there's a war, we just talking about this tonight. Whenever there's a war, all the defense industries are getting paid. War is profitable, brothers and sisters. They don't care about the loss of human life. Why do you think people come back from these wars and they sleeping on streets and they can't get proper attention and they sleeping in their cars? Why do you think they do? Because their head all messed up from the war and the people don't care about them. They just widget, throw them away. They're making money off of them. How they make money? They got to buy, they use your taxes, my taxes, and they buy guns and bombs and uniforms and all of that. Then they take the kickback. That goes in their back pocket, and then they send the brothers off to war. And then when they go over to war, if there's oil to be taken, if there's gold to be taken, boom, they got that too. There's poppy fields, boom, take that, put the heroin in the black neighborhoods, making more money. How are we making money on that? Privatized prisons. Privatized prisons. Money all around. Kickbacks all around. Brothers and sisters, this ain't new. This is part of this system. And that's why when this message comes forth, Babylon is falling. First of all, to the powers that be. People like you and me, we don't matter. We're not looking for no guns to do the takeover. We're not like Malcolm X looking to bring them before the UN. Right? We're not creating a political system like the Black Panthers did with Fred Hampton and them, with Huey Newton and them. We're not doing that. We just praying to the Father, getting his spirit and reading his word. We're not no power. They're not worried about us. They're not worried about us. But when that spirit start bringing the word out of our tongue, it's going to scare them. When that spirit caused people to come back to life that was dead, people that was paralyzed can walk, people that was deaf can hear. When that spirit start doing it, it's going to scare them. And you see how they act when they get scared. Babylon is falling. Its number is up. Right now, we're at the end of it right now. Brothers and sisters, the 144,000 are the sign. When we are ready, it's on. That's all. When we're ready, it's on. Nothing else you got to concern yourself with. Once you are prepared with the Father's Spirit, and He'll let you know it's on. Time is coming. It's not that many years left. It's not. Not. Okay. Let's continue. Revelation chapter 18. Babylon is fallen. Verse 3 and 4. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues. Let me explain something to you. We know there's only one nation on the planet Earth that Yah cares about in terms of a nation. Now, he cares about individuals within nations that he's trying to redeem, but in terms of the nations themselves, there's only one nation that he cares about. And that one nation is not even together. They're scattered all over the earth, only to be brought together when the kingdom is brought into power. Only nation he cares about. So when he talks about all nations, he's talking about all these places where we've been scattered into. And that's what Jeremiah say, I'm going to make a full end of all nations where I've scattered you, but I will not make a full end of you. Talking about Israel. So the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth, all your leaders, committed fornication with her. The merchants of the earth. Who are the merchants of the earth, brothers and sisters? They're corporations. They're not individuals buying and selling things. You're talking about corporate power. Corporate power. When you see restaurants in major cities, them big restaurants, they're not owned by just a couple of guys, a couple of family got together like the Walmart. These are corporations that own multiple restaurants everywhere. It's corporate power. These are the merchants of the earth. Everything you buy and sell is from some corporation, brothers and sisters. Sometimes the corporation has it made in China. Sometimes it's made in the Philippines. Sometimes it's made in Ohio. But it's always a corporation at the end of it. Always. That's the merchants of the earth. Waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. But come out of her, my people. Now, brothers and sisters, listen carefully. The Exodus from Babylon is not going to be because somebody just woke up and said, oh, I need to leave Babylon. It's going to be a difficult decision. Why do I say that? It's going to be the rock and the hard place, brothers and sisters. It really is. How do I know? Listen, you remember Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. You remember them three brothers in Daniel chapter 3, right? You remember them guys? The three Hebrews? They were in the situation that all of y'all's people are going to find themselves in. What happened? You know, after Daniel interpreted Nebuchadnezzar's dream by Yah's spirit, you remember all them brothers was promoted, right? After that, he put all of them in high places. They were working in Babylon. They worked for the government. But then they got tested. And he put the statue, he put the image up. And he wanted everybody to bow to the image, starting with the leaders. He had the leaders out there, which Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah was among them. He said, bow to the image or be killed. They had a decision to make. Good jobs in Babylon, getting paid, living pretty good in their enemy's land. All they had to do was bow. But the problem was they belonged to Yah, and that would break his covenant. They were not going to break his covenant for all the gold in Babylon. And they told Nebuchadnezzar that to his face. That's what we're going to be faced with this here. Come out of her, my people, means you got a choice to make. All of y'all's people had to make this choice. Remember what the Bible said about Moses? He chose to suffer affliction with the people of Yah rather than what? Enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Brother Moses could have had a whole harem of beautiful Egyptian women. He could have been Pharaoh. And he chose to stick with the poor people that have been slaves in Egypt, suffer affliction with Yah's people, and they didn't even appreciate the brother, as we know, right? That's the choice. It's going to be a choice between, and you're going to have it. It's like this. It's not going to be, people are not going to be ignorant. They're going to say, oh, these people are, this is true. It's going to hit them like a ton of bricks. The power behind the message is going to hit the people. They're going to know this is true. This is true. See, it's even like that now. When a sincere person is seeking truth and some brother's bringing something that's true, that person's spirit say, you know what? That's true. Now, they may need to read the word and pray to confirm that, but something is telling them, no, this is right. Just the opposite. When somebody trying to con you, no matter how nice they sound, yeah, something don't sound right. Something doesn't sound right. You don't know what it is yet. Person seems nice and everything, but something wrong. Right? So just so when the Most High puts his seal on us and we bring forth this word, it's gonna hit them like a hammer. And they're gonna be like, oh wow, that's true. But man, give up this job, give up this money, give up this position I worked so hard for. Man. Now there's gonna be what? A remnant that's gonna take that choice like Moses did. Let me explain to your brothers and sisters, there will be no person that's delivered in these last days. Listen, that has not taken a decided stand for truth by himself. See, there's a lot of people that'll stand for truth with other people with them. You know, if they can go with a crowd, they'll do it. Them really cowards. I don't care what side they're on. John the Baptist had to stand by himself. Elijah had to stand by himself. Messiah had to stand by himself. Moses had to stand by himself. What you think? You gonna go in the crowd? No. Every individual gonna have a testimony. Going to have borne witness of Father's righteousness, and you're going to have stood for it by yourself. Don't worry, you got to put yourself in this situation. Y'all's going to put you in this situation. And choices are going to have to be made. Choices are going to have to be made. And he'll give it to you. You remember, and see, I praise God. His word is so full of, there's nothing we can deal with that's not already written, right? The disciples were scared in Acts, man. They were scared. Because they were threatened by the Sanhedrin. They were scared. And they prayed. They say, please give us boldness. And the Bible said that the house was shaking and the wind came through and they got the boldness and they stood firm. Next time they stood before them, they said, these are unlearned and ignorant men, but they took note of them. They had been with Messiah. They asked for that boldness and they got it. Brothers and sisters, we're not going to have all the power we need right now because we don't need it right now. But when we do need it, it's going to be there. Believe it's going to be there. It's going to be there. So that the people that are sincere and want the truth, when this message comes forth, they're going to stand for the truth and they're going to suffer for it. They are. Everybody got to. But they're going to get a crown. Praise Yah. That's why this message is so important. It not only gives the people that are left in Babylon that belong to the Most High an opportunity to make that stand like Moses and Elijah and the prophets of old did. They got to make that stand. It also gives Yah glory because he has prepared the 144,000 and they are representing him on the earth at that time with his character of perfect righteousness. And that gives him glory. And that's only the beginning of the party. Revelation chapter 18. Let's start again at verse 4 and read from verse 4 down to verse 8. Actually, from verse 4 down to verse 8. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yah hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself, and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow. and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine. And she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahweh Most High, who judges her. Oh, yes. Brothers and sisters, see, we haven't seen this power the way we're going to see it yet. We haven't. Get glimpses of it, but it's coming. It's coming. He is strong, man. You think Babylon, this system of Babylon is strong. I ain't going to front. It's strong. It's strong. But compared to Yah and Messiah, what you talking about? Like you comparing a forest fire to a candle, man. Come on. The creator who can speak a word and something that didn't exist can exist, and something that did exist can disappear. You talking about power, man. The creator whose brightness is as brighter than the sun that you can't even look at him. The same one that Daniel fell as a dead man, and so did Yakanah fell as dead when they saw Messiah who represented the Father. Not even the Father. Because Moses, and he told Moses, no man could look at me and live now. Brothers and sisters, that's what we're dealing with. And he's getting ready to do stuff on this earth that's never been done on a scale like that. We are reading about it in Isaiah on a local level, in like what we call now the Middle East, or what we saw in Egypt in that one area, 4,000 years ago. But what we're getting ready to behold, what we're getting ready to witness is on a worldwide scale. Every corner, north, south, east, and west is going to experience this. Everybody. There's going to be nobody left out. You can be down under in Australia or Cook Islands or New Zealand. You could be up there in Canada and in Siberia. Don't matter. And everywhere in between. Everybody going to know about this here. It's coming. Okay? I'm really excited about it, really honest, because I know it, I feel it. And I'm seeing it in his word. It's coming. It's a few years, but years are flying by, aren't they? Years ain't nothing. It's flying by, quick, real fast. And don't worry about it if you old like me, right? Don't worry about that. Age don't matter. Moses was 120, and it was just as strong as he had been when he was 40. His natural strength had not gone. The Most High is able to hold whoever he will. Don't lose faith in that. Just look for his spirit. That's all you got to do. Seek his spirit. Pray for it. Meditate on it. Look at his word. Pray over it. Meditate on it. Trust it. Because what we saw this week, see, brothers and sisters, little dress rehearsals like this separate the true from the false. People can go in their little churches and clap to white Jesus and talk all that mess all they want to. When it hit the fan, it wasn't even hitting the fan. It was dress rehearsal. People started tripping. And you ain't seen it. They ain't even seen it. I was looking, I said, man, they ain't seen nothing yet. This ain't nothing. And they tripping. I mean, straight tripping. Revelation chapter 18. Watch this. Verse 9, 10, 11, and 12. Revelation chapter 18, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Their merchandise of gold. Did I say 12? No, did I stop at 11? All right, we stop at 11. Okay. Brothers and sisters, the most precious thing, again, I'm saying to you, the most precious thing you can obtain is Father's Spirit. Everything else on this planet. You see, Father's Spirit is a representation of his perfect righteousness. His perfect righteousness is an eternal righteousness. It will never die. Divinity cannot be killed. Divinity is where life comes from. Okay? Everything else on this planet, every single thing is going to be overrun and destroyed and done over. We're going to come and take this thing over and build up a righteous kingdom, praise the Most High Yah. We're going to have eternal power and strength in the earth made new when we're in Yah's kingdom. All this stuff here that you see is going to be destroyed, wiped off, because it's been tainted with sin, and it's all temporary. Everything you see is temporary. Everything, nothing lasts forever. I don't care how good the situation or how bad it is. It doesn't last. Righteousness is forever. And when he puts an end of sin and death, that end is forever. Never come back. And so what's going on here, these merchants are seeing the destruction happening around them. They're seeing it, and then they're realizing, wait, we didn't plan this in our secret meetings. We didn't plan this, in the Bohemian Grove. We didn't plan this in our secret Jesuit meeting. We didn't plan this. What's going on? Did you do it? No, I didn't do it. What's going on? And when they see it, they know it's going to come to them. It's like watching somebody get spanked, and you next. You know what I'm saying? You next. That's what's going on. They seeing the spanking coming. They know they next. They weeping the well, and they're like, oh my goodness, you next, bro. You next. Double. See, brothers and sisters, I really praise you. I see these corruption on earth, and it's just like it bothers me. I see it. You see people getting deceived, man. People getting deceived. Especially my people. It just hurts watching it. But yet I'm comforted, understanding that very shortly, man, this whole thing is going to be wiped off the earth. All the sinners with it. All the unrepentant with it. They're going to be wiped up. I'm very comforted by that thought. And understand this is where we're headed. And we're being prepared, and I give him praise and honor because he always guides us. He guides our steps. He shows us what's coming. He don't let nothing surprise us. Keeps us calm. That's meekness. Staying calm in the midst of stress. Staying calm. That's meekness, brothers and sisters. That's what it's about. Calm, cool, collected. When everybody else going crazy, say Moses was the meekest man on earth. What that mean? It didn't mean he was weak and flowery. That means everybody was talking about him behind his back, like Miriam and his brother was. People was tripping on him, and Moses was cool. Moses was cool. But at some point, the Negroes got to him, right? Bible says they pushed the spirit and caused him to speak unadvisedly with his lips. Remember, Isha, we were talking about that this week, caused him to speak unadvisedly with his lips. They pushed the brother to the limit, man. But most of the time, and this man was cool, meekest man on earth, the Bible says, cool, calm, and collected in the midst of all of it. Come down from that mountain with the tables of the covenant in his hand. His face was bright, man. So bright they had to cover it. That's what we're looking for, man. That's what we're looking for. Praise Yah. Okay. Revelation chapter 18, verses 12. From verse 12 down to verse 16. I'm not going to read the whole thing. We got to get to Isaiah 21 now. But I wanted to show you what Isaiah 21 was about. It's about this here. Okay. The merchants of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and wait. I want you to watch. Look at this grocery list. Because this is today. Everything you see on this list is what's being traded. Notice the merchants of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearl and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thyine wood and all manner of vessels of iron and all manner of vessels of the most precious wood and of brass, iron and marble, cinnamon, odors, ointment, frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots, that's cars, and slaves and souls of men. Slaves, souls of men. You think we got slaves today? Wait. You work for a corporation? You in debt? Guess what? You a slave. You may not have a chain around your neck, but you very much a slave. That doesn't even include the brothers that are actually in jail, the people that are actually being snatched off the street and their organs being sold, the people that are actually being snatched off the street to go and satisfy some old pervert in a sex slave operation. Doesn't even include that. Slaves and souls of men, all that is part of Babylon. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee. And all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee. And thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand far off for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. Oh, yeah. Verse 17. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. Every shipmaster, all company and ships and sailors, as many as trade by sea, stood afar off. Verse 18. And cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? Then it goes on to say how they cast dust in the air. They was upset. They know they next. It's coming. Brothers and sisters, now is the time. As the Bible says, now is the time of salvation. And Messiah did tell us they're going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Oh, yes. There's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's where we're going right now. Now let's go back to Isaiah 21. Because basically we just read it in Revelation chapter 18. Only Isaiah 21 says it in a mere 17 small verses. Notice what it says here. And it's using Medes and Persians, as the retribution here. And Babylon is Babylon. It's then its literal local country Babylon, first led by Nebuchadnezzar as a comeback from the ancient Nimrod. But today it's the worldwide political, geopolitical, economic system in which we are in. But Isaiah chapter 21. Let's start verse 1. Isaiah 21:1. The burden of the desert of the sea, as whirlwinds in the south pass through, so cometh from the desert and from a terrible land. Now, this is, if you look at this, is extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't make sense. Like, look, it says the burden of the desert of the sea. Did you notice that? So a desert is usually associated with a dry, parched land, right? And then you have the sea, which is water, right? The burden of the desert of the sea. Do you see that? Right? Look at that. So it said the desert, what is that? Well, generally speaking, sea represent people, nations, and multitudes. Desert is a desolate place. So it's a desolate place of people, nations, and multitudes. That's the earth. You catching me? Testing 1, 2, 3. It's a desolate place of peoples, nations, and multitudes. That's what it represents. Dry and parched in spirit. See, but it's just amazing. The Bible is so poetic how it put it, though. He said, the burden of the desert of the sea. That's powerful. As whirlwinds in the south pass through, so it cometh from the desert, from a terrible land. Yes. So retribution, right? Let's go from verse 2 down to verse 6. A grievous vision is declared unto me. That's Isaiah. A grievous vision is declared unto me. The treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media. All the sign thereof have I made to cease. Therefore are my loins filled with pain. Pangs have taken hold upon me, as pangs of a woman that travaileth. I was bowed down at the hearing of it. I was dismayed at the seeing of it. My heart panted, fearfulness affrighted me. The night of my pleasure hath he turned into fear unto me. Prepare the table, watch in the watchtower, eat, drink, arise, ye princes, and anoint the shield. For thus saith Yahweh, for thus hath Yahweh said unto me, go set a watchman and let him declare what he seeth. Let me stop here. So, brothers and sisters, again, If you read Isaiah chapter 30, you'll see very similar language. Remember, he said it when he said, "What is this? I see a man travail as a woman with child, and all faces turned to paleness. Alas, for that day is great, is the day time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." Well, it's a very similar language here, though it's not the same thing. This is happening to the heathen. Jacob, that's us, are going to go through some trouble before we get delivered. Because right after that, in Jeremiah chapter 30, he talks about breaking the yoke of the enemy off of us, just like Isaiah chapter 10, because of the anointing, right, of the Spirit. So, but this travail and pain coming upon Babylon. And he said, go prepare a table. Go look for, get a watchtower. Where's the watchtower for? That's pretty obvious. You put a watchman up there to see when trouble comes, right? So that when it comes, somebody could give you a warning and you can be prepared against the trouble, right? But what does the Bible say? In Psalm 126, say, except Yahweh build the house, what happened? They labor in vain that build it. Except Yah keep the city, the watchman waketh, but in vain. Right? So he said, go ahead, set the watchman up there. That he gonna, it's not gonna help you. It's not gonna help you. He can see it coming, and it's still gonna come, and it's not gonna help you. Isaiah chapter 21. Let's go from verse 7. From verse 7 down to verse 10. From verse 7 down to verse 10. And he saw a chariot with a couple of horsemen, a chariot of asses, a chariot of camels, and he hearkened diligently with much heed. And he cried, a lion, my master. I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and am set in my ward whole nights. And behold, here cometh a chariot of men with a couple of horsemen. And he answered and said, what did he say? Babylon is fallen, and all the graven images of her gods he hath broken unto the ground. O my threshing, and the corn of my floor, that which I have heard of Yahweh of hosts, the Most High of Israel, have I declared unto you. A couple of horsemen, chariots. He said, Babylon is fallen. Yes, brothers and sisters, let them set the watchmen. It's not going to help them. It's not going to help them. You know, I'm just so happy about these things, to be honest with you. You know, understanding what we have been through, understanding the centuries upon centuries of oppression we have dealt with, and to know that retribution is coming to our oppressors. I don't know about you, that makes me feel good. They have it coming, don't they? They got it coming, right? It just goes to show you, man, nobody gets over. People think they get over, but nobody gets over. Okay? Nobody gets over. Not Mr. Rothschild, not Mr. Rockefeller. They thinking they getting over. They perverted self. They can die. They're gonna be raised up out them graves because they got a second time to die. For real. Nobody gets over. People think they're getting over. They're not getting over. The arm of Yah is longer. Is longer than their life, longer than eternity. They're gonna catch it. These words gonna come to pass. And I'm so happy. They can have the money, they can have all the power, they can keep that stuff now. I want the kingdom. I want the street to go. I want the tree of life, brothers and sisters. I want to eat that fruit, man. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to Messiah and I want to give him praise. I want to see the Father's face. I want to see his face and obey him with his name in my forehead. I want that. Keep this stuff, man. Keep it. It's all good. Keep it. It's all good. Isaiah chapter 21. Isaiah chapter 21. I'm going to start at verse 10 again. And I'm going to go from verse 10 down to verse 15. O my threshing, and the corn of my floor, that which I have heard of Yahweh of hosts, the Most High of Israel, have I declared unto you. The burden of Duma is in Babylon. He called to me out of Seir. You know Seir. Watchman, what of the night? Watchman, what of the night? The watchman said, the morning cometh, and also the night. If ye will inquire, ye return, come. The burden of Arabia, in the forest in Arabia shall ye lodge, and ye travel in companies of Didanim. The inhabitants of the land of Tema brought water to him that was thirsty. They prevented with their bread him that fled. Now, brothers and sisters, let me just explain these things. Remember what we talked about earlier a few chapters ago. And you may not remember, but let me just remind you. To Yah, the center of the earth is Israel. I'm not saying it's geographically the center or diametrically the center, whatever, but to Yah, his eye is on the land. Remember that what he said? His Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 12, I believe. His eye is always on that land. Also, we also saw his people, his scattered people are the apple of his eye. This is where his attention is. Now, in Bible times, being that Israel was a nation and his people had dwelt there, they were the center of the earth. So when he's talking about judgment, he's dealing with all the nations around them. Geographically, I mean, Assyria, Babylon, Egypt, Elam, all these nations around them. But today, we're talking about the entire earth. We're talking about a scattered people that scattered within these nations, and all of these nations facing judgment, and his people coming forth from it. You see what I'm saying? So when he talks about Arabia, he talks about Syria, he talks about Duma, he talks about all these places that surrounds the actual geographic area of Israel. But again, this is prophecy. So we're dealing now with a worldwide Babylon, in which we understand from the word that his people are scattered in that system and being called out of it. Okay. For Isaiah chapter 21, from verse 15, let's finish chapter 15 down to 17, Isaiah 21, 15 to 17. For they fled from the sword, from the drawn sword, and from the bent bow, and from the grievousness of war. For thus saith Yahweh said unto me, within a year, according to the years of an hireling, all the glory of Kedar shall fail, and the residue of the number of archers and the mighty men of the children of Kedar shall be diminished. For Yahweh Most High of Israel have spoken it. It's going to continue as we go to chapter 22, and 23 is going to be very interesting. And in 24, it's going to kind of finish this part of the narrative. But this is part of it right here, chapter 21. And then chapter 22, we're going to continue by the grace of the Most High tomorrow. Again, we're dealing with the burden of the desert of the sea. So this is talking about basically the earth, and the empty earth, the spiritless in terms of righteousness spirit earth. Now, the earth is filled with Asatan spirit, but Asatan spirit is a spirit that's going to end in death, versus Yah's spirit, an eternal righteous spirit that will never die. Praise the Most High. So this is the desert of the sea, an empty earth. Praise the Most High Yah. Well, let's have a word of prayer. Let's stop here and have a word of prayer. Most High Yahweh, we just give you the praise again and the honor and the glory. We don't even do justice to your word or to your name, but we still just praise you and ask that you please guide and direct us in spirit and in truth for your name's sake. In the name of Yahweh Shah, we pray. Amen. Let me turn the computers away because my wife is sitting here asleep and she don't want to be on the video. She can't even hear me. That's how asleep she is. She can't even hear me.